If you want to break into AI or level up your AI career in 2026 and you're trying to figure out which certifications are actually worth your time and money, then this video is going to save you from wasting months on the wrong things. Here's the deal. I've watched so many talented people spend 6 months grinding through certifications, feeling incredibly productive, and then walk into interviews and completely freeze when they get asked a single real world architecture question. So in this video, I'm going to break down the AI certification landscape, not in a generic, here are all the options way, but in a real, strategic and opinionated way. I'm going to tell you exactly which certifications move the needle in hiring, which ones are great for learning but won't impress anyone alone, and how to think about all of this based on where you actually are in your career right now. Now, before we dive in, I'm Aishwarya Srinivasan. I've spent over 10 years working in machine learning and AI. I have a master's in data science from Columbia University, and I've worked as a data scientist at Microsoft, Google, and IBM. I have led developer relations. I am also building the Gen Academy. The Gen Academy is an AI skill building platform which is focused on teaching the real things that teams are building in production right now. Fun fact is that I'm also the most followed Indian woman in AI. I started my journey sharing AI resources on LinkedIn, and I'm passionate about helping AI professionals upskill. So now let's jump. Let me just say this clearly upfront because I think a lot of people need to hear this. A certification alone will not get you hired in 2026. And I'm sorry, but that's just the reality. What might actually get you hired is a certification plus real projects plus the ability to walk into an interview and speak confidently about the trade-offs in production systems. That is the combination and that is the game. And here's the thing, certifications are not useless, they are just not magic. They do three really important things. They give you structure when you're learning on your own and you don't know where to start. They reduce the chaos of figuring out what to study. And third, they give you a vocabulary, a framework that helps you make sense of everything else that you're learning. Now, those are genuinely valuable things, but they are not just a substitute for building real systems, shipping real things, and writing about what you've learned. And being able to explain the architectural decision out loud is very important. Now, with that context set, I want to break the certification world into two buckets. And this is the mental model that is going to help you make much smarter decisions about where to invest your energy. Bucket one is learning certification. I call these indirect contributors. And bucket two is stack aligned platform specific certification. I call these direct contributors. Now let's go through both. These are the certifications. So if you're transitioning from software engineering or product management or some other field, these are genuinely fantastic starting points. Don't let anyone dismiss them. Here is what I want you to understand though. Hiring managers in 2026 are not hiring you because you completed 5 Coursera certifications. What they are doing is using these certifications as a filter to confirm that you've taken time to actually learn the concept. That's the difference. So which ones are actually worth in this bucket? For foundations, I would say the deep learning AI specializations by Andrew Ang on Coursera are still a gold standard. The machine learning specialization, the deep learning specialization, and the generative AI LLM course. These are genuinely excellent. If you haven't done them, they are worth your time, especially early in your journey. Then Google's AI and machine learning crash course through their Skills Boost program are also solid and honestly underrated. They are free, they are well structured, and they connect concepts directly to real cloud infrastructures. For AI specific tooling, the Hugging Face course is one I would recommend. It covers transformers, fine-tuning, parameter efficient fine-tuning techniques, and this is hands-on work, not just theory. Similarly, LangChain Academy and their LangGraph certifications are becoming increasingly relevant as agentic systems move to the center of AI engineering. Other strong ones in this space is AWS AI Practitioner for cloud context, the NVIDIA Deep Learning Institute for anything related to compute or infrastructure focused, Weights and Biases for ML Ops, and Pinecone for vector database certifications if you're building RAG systems. What all of these cover broadly is the conceptual layer, transformers and how LLMs work internally, RAG pipeline, the basics of fine-tuning, prompt engineering, evaluation, vector databases, and deployment fundamentals. This is the vocabulary that you need to pay particular attention to for technical conversations. And I want to be real with you. These are indirect contributors to hiring. They build your foundations. They are specifically important if you're early in your career and making a transition, but they are starting line. They are not the finish line. I hope you get that. Now let's talk about what really moves the needle. Here's where the real leverage comes. I call these direct contributors because preparing for them forces you to develop genuine platform fluency, the kind of knowledge that comes up directly in technical interviews and on the job. So let me walk walk you through the most important ones by category. First one is Google Cloud. If you're working in or targeting roles that involve cloud-based machine learning, the Google Cloud Professional Machine Learning Engineering certification is one of the best in the industry. It's hard, it takes real preparation, and that preparation forces you to understand things like feature pipelines, IAM policies, cost optimizations, batch versus real-time inferencing, monitoring and observability, and security guardrails. These are the exact things hiring managers are probing for when they ask you about system design questions. The professional data engineer and professional cloud architect certifications are also valuable depending on your target role. Now, the second one is AWS. The AWS machine learning specialty is another strong one. Again, same principle. Preparing for it forces you into the details of building and deploying machine learning systems at scale using things like SageMaker, understanding data governance, designing for cost and latency, etc. And the third one is Microsoft Azure. The Azure AI Engineering Associate, which is the AI 102, is probably the most commonly asked about certification in the Microsoft ecosystem. Azure Data Scientist Associate is solid too. With the Azure, OpenAI are becoming more prevalent in enterprise ecosystem fluency. Then the next one is Databricks, and this one is underrated. The Databricks Machine Learning Professional Certification forces you to understand the full machine learning pipeline in the lakehouse architecture. Then Journey Engineer track is also increasingly relevant. From an infrastructure layer perspective, if you're targeting ML engineering or AI infra roles, certified Kubernetes administrator like the CKA is increasingly expected. Then we have Terraform Associate for infrastructure as a code. Then the next one is Agentic AI. Now here is why I call these as direct contributors. Imagine that you're in an interview and the person comes and asks you, how would you design a multi-tenant RAG system with evaluation and fallback mechanism? If you have seriously prepared for any of the cloud ML certifications I just mentioned, you can answer that question using real platform terminology. You can talk about Vertex AI or SageMaker. You can discuss about vector database trade-offs, cluster latency constraints, IAM boundaries for multi-tenancy, etc. You can go deep on monitoring and fallback strategies as well. Okay, so now let's zoom out and give you an actual strategic framework that I would use depending on where you are right now. If you're early career profession transitioning into AI from software engineering, data analyst, or another field, my honest advice is start with the learning certification. Andrew Yang specialization or the Hugging Face course to build your conceptual foundation. But don't just stop there. While you're learning, just start building. Build at least 3 serious projects. Projects which have real data, real evaluation metrics, and real trade-off that you can speak to. The combination of structured learning plus proof of work is what exactly gets you through the front door. Now, if you're a middle-level engineer looking to level up in AI roles or senior AI engineering positions, pick one of the cloud ecosystem and go deep. Don't try to certify on everything. You can pick either Google Cloud, AWS, or Azure based on where your target companies operate and get the advanced machine learning engineer or AI engineering certification on that platform. Now, that depth signals something that breadth doesn't. Now, if you're an AI PM or a solution architect type, you need a hybrid approach. Combine one technical cloud certification with a product focused certification and back it up with real deployment case studies. You can say things like, I led the deployment of an AI product that served X users, and here is what I learned. This is infinitely more impressive than a list of 5 certifications. And if you're targeting roles like forward deployed engineering or customer facing technical architect roles, cloud certifications plus infra certifications plus real customer facing architecture examples are great. That combination is rare and companies will pay a premium for it. Now, I want to close the technical section by being really direct about it because I think this is the most important thing that I'll say today. In 2026, the hiring bar for AI engineering is genuinely higher than it has ever been. Companies are no longer impressed by I fine-tuned a model on a Kaggle dataset. They want engineers who understand evaluation framework, not just accuracy, but business-aligned metrics. They want people who understand observability. How do you know your model is behaving correctly in production, not just in evaluation time? They want people who understand retrieval quality, guardrail design, data flywheel, reinforcement learning loops, and infrastructure scaling. Certifications accelerate your path to that knowledge, but they do not replace the experience of actually building and shipping systems. So the message is not don't get a certification. The message is certifications are accelerators and not substitutes. Use them intentionally. Use them to structure your learning and showcase platform fluency. But pair them with building, pair them with shipping things. Write technical blog posts, contribute to open source, explain architectural decisions out loud to someone who can challenge you on them. That's the combination that changes your career trajectory. Alright, I know that was a lot. All of the resources that I mentioned are linked in the description below so you can explore them at your own pace. Make sure that you save this video so you can come back when you're making decisions about where to focus next. If you haven't already, please subscribe and hit that bell icon. I post regularly about AI and ML career development, free resources, technical deep dives, and my own journey building a career as an immigrant in the US in the AI space. I genuinely want to help you navigate this, and subscribing is how you can make sure that you don't miss anything that I share. If you have any specific questions, please do drop them in the comments below. One more thing, if you're serious about mastering agentic AI systems, Arvind Narayan Murthy, my co-founder, and I have built a deep dive mastering agentic AI bootcamp at the Gen Academy. It's a hands-on one, it's production based, and it's exactly the kind of learning that bridges the gap between watching tutorials and building real systems. The link is also in the description below, so go check it out.